Down through the ages, even in the most difficult of times, there were those who believed, and they were the ones who wrote the glorious chapters in our people's history. When Avraham Avinu made his stand against a worldwide pagan civilization, no one believed in him. He was called Ha'ivri, the outsider. The people of his time thought he was deranged, but it was he who destroyed his father's idols and went on to bring the belief in one God to an entire world. When Avraham Avinu received the mission statement for the Jewish nation and set out for the Holy Land, no one believed he would become the father of many nations. Go forth to the place I will show you, and I will make you into a great nation, and all the nations will be blessed by you. Scorning the wealth and prestige his family enjoyed in the most developed civilization of his time, he followed his heart and conviction to build the nation that would transform history. When Avraham Avinu stood at the gates of Hebron and haggled with Ephron, no one dreamed he would best the princes of Chayat and secure the purchase of the cave of Machpelah for the Jewish people. He was offered the property for free, but he knew that all the future generations seeking to stake their claim to the land of Israel would look back to him as their example. He made a point of paying the price necessary to secure a Jewish homeland. When Caleb and Yoshua faced a Jewish leadership that rejected the land of Israel, no one could have believed that these two heroic voices could turn the tide. They knew that in order to avert the evil decree, they must go up to pray in Hebron and be inspired by Hebron's holy tradition of fortitude and strength. When King David was no more than a shepherd boy, no one believed he would be anointed as king. No one thought that from his initial headquarters in Hebron, such a delicate poet and scholar could find the courage to forge a monarchy of steel and blood. When the Second Temple was destroyed nearly 2,000 years ago, and the Jewish people were scattered to the four corners of the earth, no one believed that they would ever find their way home. Despite the Crusades, the Inquisition, the pogroms, the blood libels, the Arab revolts, and even the Holocaust, we outlived all our enemies to make our glorious comeback and renew the Jewish Commonwealth in 1948. When the Arab aggressors massed their troops on our borders in 1967, did anyone believe we could survive? Did anyone think we wouldn't be pushed into the sea? Did anyone dream that within days the cradle of our birthright would be returned to us? That the Jewish people's holiest sites located in Judea and Samaria, Jerusalem and Hebron would be ours? When the Jews of Hebron were murdered and robbed of their homes in 1929, did anyone think they would be back? When Avraham Franco, clutching an ancient Torah scroll his family had brought to Hebron back in the 16th century, swore to the British policeman who had evacuated him in 1929 that he would return someday, could anyone have imagined that in 1983 he would dance into the newly renovated Avraham Avinu synagogue with that same Sefer Torah? When Rabbi Levinger and a handful of determined families spent that first Passover at the Park Hotel, did anyone believe that they would persevere? That their love and dedication for our founding fathers and mothers would overcome all the doubts and all the cynics? That their tenacious hold on the land would give birth not only to the twin communities of Kiryat Arba and Hebron, but also to 15 additional communities in the Hebron Hills. In a blind effort to cut the umbilical cord to our heritage and tradition, the evacuation of Hebron has been proposed again and again at almost every opportunity. The struggle has seen hypocrisy reach new lows when a purported concern for the archaeology of Hebron held up the construction of Beit Menachem in the courts for 6 years. Or when the supposed concern for the welfare of the Jewish residents was touted as an excuse to push for evacuation after the murder of Shalhevet Pas. When the Second Intifada broke out, who could have believed that it would be the Arabs who would run? Who could have imagined that while 30,000 Arabs abandoned downtown Hebron, the Jewish community would double in size? Who could have foreseen the restoration of Jewish property in Hebron again and again, whether by new purchases or by legal action? From the dawn of time until today's headlines, Hebron has stood for emunah, conviction and dedication to Eretz Yisrael. Today, when a lost and confused Israeli leadership must confront the rise of radical Islam, a genocidal nuclear threat from Iran, the ongoing missile terror of Hezbollah and Hamas, where will our people turn to? They can only turn to those who have been dedicated to their tradition, strong in their convictions, determined in their actions. They will turn to the same wellsprings of hope and emunah they have always had to turn to. They will turn to us because despite all the obstacles, we continue to believe. We have always believed in our goals. You have always believed in us. It's your support that turns our dreams into realities. In recent years, Beit Menachem was completed and inhabited. Beit Zachariah was purchased, renovated, and inhabited. Beit Shapira was purchased, and Israeli papers that called the action illegal paid cash in court for their libelous slander. Other major purchases have been completed and are waiting for a propitious opportunity to be inhabited. Tourism in Hebron, music festivals, and visits to the Machpelah cave in Hebron continue to grow by leaps and bounds. During this past Sukkot holiday alone, over 100,000 Jews came to celebrate and visit in Hebron. The lesson of Hebron echoes and rings down through the ages. Belief and conviction will always persevere.
We will see Hebron grow with new buildings, new families, 100,000 people coming to visit Hebron. And Be'ezrat Hashem, all together we will be one family together with our Avot, Avraham, Yitzchak and Sarah, Rivka, Rachel and Leah.
Even though we were thrown out from our house twice, we know we live in the place where the